Hello, everybody, and welcome in to our fourth exit interview. This is the second out of two exit interviews for episode three, as it was a double tribal council. So, Wayne, thank you for joining me today. So, I'm going to ask you some questions about your experience out there. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your experience out there at the Celebrity Challenge?
Well, first, y'all, as I've told you before, Meredith, Josie, and the rest of the crowd, y'all, put together a great event for us, and then obviously what we were raising money for was well worth any time that we spent, and had a blast. Didn't last as long as I wanted to. Maybe didn't last as long as I expected to, just because of a lot of the people that I had talked to, but. You know, good job on you figuring out how to put me with people that I hadn't talked to before our event. So
Well, hey, like I've said in these other interviews, and I told you that too, it was so hard to put these tribes together because I didn't want it to just be people getting picked off one by one because they didn't get as much of a chance to talk to people. And I knew of some alliances, and I was like, if there's an alliance of three, we're going to put one on each tribe. And I mean, the Principals Alliance that everyone talked about all season long wasn't even really a thing. I mean, they were just grouping them together by occupation. So I'm like, I'm going to split them up just so people, don't think of anything, but there was truly never an alliance. So tried to split it up age wise, all of that stuff, but it is what it is.
yeah,
Um,
no, that was a great time, and it really was. I mean, it made me unfortunately, it made me play the game probably a little more to the reality of the game, and because in real Survivor they don't know any of them each other when they go in, so yeah, it kind of let me know that I might not be as good at the game as I thought I would be.
so, talking a little bit about the pregame stuff, like I've said before, it's very hard, because you have to put yourself out there to fundraise and earn the advantages. And so we have to reveal the cast beforehand. But on the show, they have to sign all these NDAs. Nobody knows they're going on the show. So obviously pregame alliances were bound to happen. So now that we're post game, we can talk about it. So did you have any pregame alliances and with who? And how did it affect your game?
Honestly, I won't say that I had strong alliances. I will say that probably my one strong alliance was with Angela. Angela and I spoke quite a bit. I I kind of fed off of her, finding out when she was doing what in her fundraising, so I knew when to do some of my bigger things, because I couldn't compete with some of the things that she was doing. So obviously I wanted to. I mean, it was all about the raising the money, but while we're raising the money, we might as well get advantages as well. So Angela was my biggest one, but Victoria, didn't know Victoria before, but we had a coastal connection there. Got to meet up with her at a baseball game before we went on, and meet her son, and we talked quite a bit. Talked through Facebook Messenger. Nicole, same way. Derek and I talked a little bit through Messenger. Mariah, before we started, I had sat with her at the fire before we got going, and had a lifelong conversation with her. Not that I know if that meant anything, but was hoping that if we made it to emerge, and I knew I had some others that at the point I'd already found out were spread out amongst other groups. And Rachel on my own team. I mean, we didn't talk, but Rachel and I've known each other, for quite a while, and I was hoping that would work into an alliance. But unfortunately, when Rachel got voted out first, I had to vote for her because I knew it was 3-0. And talking with Leah and Crystal, and I kind of knew Ryan was going to go along with them, so it was kind of one of those. I didn't want to be the only discerning vote out there and be a 3-1. So, but yeah, so there were some pregame talks. I don't, again, I don't know about close alliances, but at least the contacts were made there, and I felt like they were, we had some good conversations leading into it.
Good. So, I talked about this with Rachel in her exit interview, the parade. There was only five of you guys who came to the St. Patrick's Day parade and were walked in the float, and three of you guys ended up on the same tribe. And I thought it was interesting that, I mean, y'all were around each other a lot that morning or day, afternoon. I'm surprised that group didn't get together. But especially there's a
Yeah,
majority of clients there.
yeah, and that I mean, I had some discussions with Leah before, and at that event, and then of course, I kind of walked along, and they were sitting in the float, so they had a lot more chance to talk. But I kind of felt the same. I really felt like I had a good connection with Leah, and you know, Leah plays the game. She played it hard, um, and her and Crystal. Obviously one of the two of them. I haven't seen all the behind the scenes stuff yet, but you know, my guess is Leah kind of spearheaded that, and they were right. I mean, Leah's told me since that you know they knew that I had some alliances and friends in other groups, and they were right. The only thing that I hated, I did have a little thought in the back of my head, just because I knew that Ryan kind of jumped on board with them pretty quick on the Rachel vote off. I kind of had a little thought in the back of my head, but I did have some trust in Leah. I had a little bit of connection with Crystal because she went to the University of North Carolina, and we had talked, and I had some close ties with their women's basketball program, and Amber Campbell from out at Coastal was a two-time Olympian, and they didn't go to the Olympics together, but they knew each other, and all of that kind of came out while we were there. So, kind of felt like the backstabbing might not happen, so I didn't play my advantage, and and off I went.
So the first thing we did when y'all got in the game is we took you out to the big field and we put you into your tribes. So looking at the tribes, obviously we've touched on this a little bit. Were you happy with yours, or which tribe would you have chosen to go
Um, my first, I thought that if I would have been with Angela, although I was happy to not be with Angela, because I would have been with Johnny Fairplay, and not a
on?
fan. Uh, but Angela and I did have a close connection, and I thought if we could have, if we were put together, I thought that we could make a run. But you split us up because we're old. That's your words, not mine. But and then the other that I really felt like I had a good connection just in messaging back and forth with him. We had some good conversations with was with Derek, and so, and again, I really didn't have any real conversations with the four that I was with, even though I did know Rachel. So but those two were kind of the two that stuck out. Victoria as well. Victoria and I really had some good conversations, and we really, I think, she didn't know anyone going in, and we had a real good connection there through Coastal. So I did have those three. I really felt real good about. I just couldn't get there.
Right. So, my next question you kind of answered. You think Angela would have helped you advance a little farther if y'all were on the same tribe? Um, so let's talk about the challenge, that you went home in. Do you feel responsible for that challenge, or do there was not a lot that could have been done. It was all a game of chance, um, paintball, but how do you feel about that challenge and how you've not seen it
Uh,
on the episode yet, but you will this week, but just from memory.
yeah, honestly, felt like a bit of an idiot when it was all over with. We had a good spot, but it was a really good spot that once we got there, it was a good spot not to get out of.
Hmm.
And if I had it to do all over again, I would have been much more mobile and gotten out of the area. Felt like we were pretty bunkered down back there. But again, there was a lot of open spaces to our right and left, not a whole lot to be able to make the move on. And as we got picked off, and I think everybody else was kind of facing us more, so it left us more open. Even though we had a great wood pile to hang behind, but somehow James LaPierre picked out a hole and put one right in my face mask. So, but that was a pretty good shot because it was. He was zoned in on me though, and he told me afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's all good. And
So,
paintballs don't taste very good either. So
I know. I've played this something. So let's talk about tribal council. You had after the challenge, you had some time to, strategize. And I think one thing with you that I was kind of surprised about is how laid back and, what's the right word? Kind of like not engaging really in strategy. And, I felt like, if I was comparing it to, and you've watched Survivor, it felt very like an old school player, like just there for the, all about the challenges, but not really thinking about the strategy behind it. And, you had advantages, or an advantage. And, that was something that really could have been used to play here. So talk to me about your tribal council and maybe the sides of the tribal council and if it surprised you or not.
yeah, and I'll so leading up to and kind of my thoughts going in, I really thought after our group was together and through talking and in the challenge before that on the canoeing challenge when we Leah and I were together there. We spent a lot of time talking. Really thought I had a good bond there. So in talking to Leah and then a Crystal again with the Olympics North Carolina thing, we had some really good conversations. So I really thought with the two of them and I that I thought we would have a good alliance with the three of us coming out of our group into a merge. Um, so I didn't feel like I needed to play that game hard. Obviously, I was wrong, but I'm sorry, I'm getting a. I don't know if that messed up there, but
Mhm.
but anyway, I was getting a so I really didn't think like I needed to quote play the game hard. And again that looking back on it should have and I had the opportunity again. I had the thought in the back of my head just because of the first vote when we voted out Rachel that um you know if there was a thought of the other two meaning Crystal and Leah to vote me out. And Ryan, obviously, I think he was going to be the floater to whoever was kind of in charge or whatever, or who had the numbers. And
Mhm.
but I really didn't feel like I needed to. But if I had felt that need, and at one time I had a small feeling that maybe you should play that idol. And boy, in the end, I wish I had because that would have been a heck of a story. I mean, it'd have been uh, all the votes against me, and then got you, but got me.
Yeah.
And again, good job for them. But I just really I felt like we had bonded a little bit, and I was really looking forward to playing the game with Crystal and Leo because I thought we had some good conversations and had built that kind of bond. But I was the only one bonding.
Yeah. So, watching the episode, I mean, you haven't seen the episode yet, so let's talk about the first two episodes. Did you remember anything that stuck out, like confessional wise, or anything that surprised you that, was said in the episode that obviously you didn't see while you were out there?
Um, Not really. I thought there were some the one thing that did stick into my mind, and it was kind of a fleeting moment shot, but just knowing what eventually played out with me was that when our group got to the island during that challenge, um, we all looked at the list of items and said, okay, let's split up and go get these. Well, come to find out, I was the only one that split up. Um, and I didn't see, and I think at one point I even said, I'm out here by myself, don't know where the other three are. Well, the other three were all together, as I saw a couple of times during videos and or during the video of them together looking for items. So, uh, knowing that now, that kind of played into what eventually happened. That was probably the only thing. I really didn't see anything from the other groups that just because you don't know everything that happened within those groups. But we heard quite a bit from the Angela Johnny Fair play. We that was kind of like a little sideshow out there on the tip of the
Mm,
island from where we were. So so it was like that was kind of part of the fun. Just kick back and watch a show of what was going on around there. And
yeah.
watching all of our camper people just go and take off, and because we were kind of boring, and I don't blame them. I wanted to go over there and see what was going on too.
So, any regrets other than not playing your advantage? Do you have any other regrets or anything you wish you would have done that we didn't
Um,
talk about?
no, not really. Probably just playing the game a little smarter. Not necessarily, the idol obviously would have been a smart play because I wouldn't have gone home as early. But probably playing the game a little harder, and putting it out there a little more. I mean, Shaw, that's kind of me. More laid back. I want to laugh and joke around, have fun, and not really part of the game. I mean, I just kind of friendly with most everybody, unless I'm given
Yeah,
a reason not to. So, so that was just kind of, it wasn't really a gameplay. It was just me out there being me. And unfortunately, I think that would probably be the thing that I would do different, would be to actually play the game a little more. But I was definitely in it. I mean, Crystal, obviously, she was out there in the real world, Survivor, and she knows how to play the game, and Leah played the game hard, and
mhm,
with those two banding together, and and again, maybe I should have tried to go after Ryan harder. But at the time, again, I just really thought I had a good vibe going with Crystal and Leah, and was really hoping to move that forward. And they voted me out because they thought that I might have some friendships and connections on others, and and they were right there. But I was also really thinking that we could be strong coming out, and it would, us three. But is what it is. And but that would be the only thing I'd change. I'd probably play the game a little bit more to with some Survivor knowledge, instead of being the fool that I always watch the show, and I'm sitting there going, "You idiot! You just went home with an advantage in your pocket," and
mhm,
I went home with an advantage in mine too.
yeah. So, you got the experience to be a part of camp all week. And we talk and we have a lot of fun about the celebrity challenge, but this is all for the camp. And I think sometimes people forget that. And so you got the experience to be there all week. So thank you for that and volunteering your time, to get to see what everybody's hard work was for. We had a lot of people who volunteered, or they had kids or grandkids in the camp. So that was what I think really made this group of contestants special, is they have some stake in the actual camp now because of they're the next generation going through. So
Yeah, and
thank
the camp was phenomenal. I mean, I had a blast. You know, um, Debbie Parrish, actually, who I was teamed up with, she taught both of my kids coming through school, and then so uh, and that's been quite a few years ago. So that was so it was nice to kind of reconnect with her, and but then as far as the show goes too, like, I didn't know Donnie Kettner going in, and I haven't talked to him a lot, but we messaged through Facebook a little bit. He actually came on board with our Chiefs radio network, and was one of our sponsors, with crab catchers. So that was, just that connection there. I mean, and he was all about jumping on, and helping the high school kids out.
you.
So it was a great group of people. But then but going back to the camp, I mean, phenomenal camp with what y'all did, putting everything together. I thought that I, I don't think we had any kids in our group that just didn't have a blast. And talking about the ones that had come back year after year, and we had a good mix of those and newbies to your camp. And honestly, I can't wait until this coming summer. I'd like to help you out on the backside of the celebrity part, but definitely want to help out with the camp again, because it was a lot of fun. I got a lot out of it. Probably as much as some of the kids did.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. So, wrapping it up here, do you have any last thoughts about, the experience as a whole that you haven't touched on? If not, that's totally fine.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I will say that I have, I've talked to a few people, because I think there's people that would be, one, not only this would be fun for them, but they would be also good at the fundraising part. And,
Right.
and then in the end, it's like Angela and I have spoken many times, whether I got voted out first or won it or whatever, or voted out fourth after Johnny Verplay went out third. So, but
Love it.
but no, I've told a lot of people, this is it was a great time. And then in the end, after the camp was over, to see what you were actually raising money for, and to help those kids go to camp, and to help y'all put on a quality camp, that made it all worth it.
Well, thank you. And thank you again for competing and helping with camp and hopping on here today to talk about your experience. And I'm excited this week to let you be able to see the episode. And, I'm excited that the rest of the episodes are going to be coming out a lot more quickly. And it's going to be a great season. So thank you again,
But
Wayne.
Josh better have been good to me. I did give him that idol after I
Yeah.
got booted out. So
We shall see.